We are live. Let's see who all joins this evening. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Got it. Oh, there he is. That's the man with the plan right there. What's up, Zach? By the way, I'm extremely pumped. Yep, there you go. You already know. I am extremely excited to get that and do some videos on that thing. That's going to be pretty sweet. So, looking forward to that coming in. Man, you got a lot of irons in the fire, brother. Sun's still up just a little bit, so that's why I got my shades on. Once that goes down, I'll take them off. I don't know when you sleep. Not much. 18 wheels and a dozen 6-shooters. Not much, man. Happy Monday. Yep. Daughter's soccer practice again tonight. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a live stream kind of on these nights where she's got practice. And so, you know, because it's from 5:30 to 7 Central Time. And it's typically 3 nights a week. And so I think maybe one of the nights I might try to do this. Not necessarily on a super regular basis, but I don't know. I kind of enjoy talking to you guys. Live, all the way live. But yeah, hopefully everybody had a good Monday. And if you didn't, then there's always Tuesday. So, yeah, Zach, you stay. It's like every time I turn around, you've got some type of new project, something going on. A published author, which is pretty cool, by the way. I would say I'm jealous of the published author part, but I'm definitely not. There is, man. But yeah, happy Monday. Anybody do anything fun over the weekend? Because I know I did. That's kind of the topic of tonight's conversation. Yeah, looking forward to the varmint. That's what I typically go to Publix. I should just subscribe to all of those, varmint rifle and hand loader. I don't subscribe to them. I just buy them off the shelf there at Publix whenever I go grocery shopping. I really just need to subscribe and get them sent, I guess, directly to my house. But I don't know. That's part of the joy of going into Publix. It's like an Easter egg hunt for adults. I go in there and I start looking and I'm like, oh, new copy? Yep, let me grab it. So adds a little joy. Oh, sighted in thermal. Man, I would say I hate you, but that's not a nice thing to say. But I'm very envious of you. Sighted in my thermal, man. Oh, really? Where are you going? You're going to be down in my neck of the woods. Where are you headed to? Because I just got back. I was up in Kentucky all weekend. I was in northwest Kentucky, almost to Evansville, Indiana. I was just across, on this side of the river from Evansville, Indiana. Down by Sweetwater, doing some hog hunting. Man, that's going to be awesome. With a thermal too. Golly, I've done that one time. And that has probably been, I've got limited hunting in terms of the species that I've hunted. Very limited. It's been whitetail deer, you know, rabbit, squirrel, that type of stuff, hogs. But man, you know, coyotes, different things like that. But you want to talk about an adrenaline rush is hunting hogs at night with thermals. Man, there's nothing like it. That was some of the most fun I've ever had. Slightly unnerving when you look out across a field and the thing just glows because there's so many hogs out in the field. And you can't see nothing. You know, it's pitch black. Taking 130 TTSX and 3.0. Oh man, that's gonna be devastating. Love it. You'll save if you sub to it, but Varmint can't sub to it because it's only twice a year. I got you. Okay, well then yeah, I just need to go ahead and sub. I just need to do that if I can save a little bit of money doing it that way. What so what's your 308? What's the, is that are you running an AR? I'm assuming. I would assume you probably running some, was it AR-10? I mean, you could run a bolt action, just not too quick on follow up shots. Have yet to hog hunt. It's on the list, man. It is. Well, it's one of those where it's kind of like a catch-22. You know, in our area, I really wish we didn't have hogs. Right, that's the catch-22 part of it, is they do so much damage, right? So much destruction to property and land, and to actually get rid of them, I mean, you really have to go in and trap them to the point where, yeah, AR, oh, that's awesome. You have to trap them like those big enclosure traps, and I mean, there's really, I don't know of a way to actually eradicate them, right? So yeah, they're fun to hunt and fun to shoot, but man, they reproduce so fast. You see a couple, you get a couple on camera, you better believe you've got a crap ton of them running around there, or you're about to have that many running around. So like they're awesome to hunt, but at the same time, and they're really good to eat. You shoot some kind of on the smaller side, on the small ones, man, they are so good. Shoot some of those, get them done in some pork chops. That's what my dad, he killed 3. Oh, this is back years ago. He killed 3, took them to the processor, had them cut up into pork chops. Man, you want to talk about good. And then we actually went, so he killed 3 on public land. That's been a handful of years ago. And then we went a few years back, me, him, and my brother went down to my cousin, my 2 cousins, what's 3 of them? They've got land down in Panola, Alabama, really small town, middle of nowhere. And they were like, hey, y'all come on down. They go out, they hunt them at night. So they go out, shoot them in the evening. Yeah, you better believe it. Grim Watch or Grime Watch or G Rim Watch, or I don't know how you say people's tags. Yeah, you tear into a big one, you're better off just leaving them to sit. You shoot them and kill them, just let them lay there. They ain't even worth the effort. We actually gutted the ones we killed when we went to my cousin's property. We ended up killing a couple that night, and on the smaller side. I mean, they were kind of approaching that size where it's like, okay, they're getting pretty big and you probably don't want to eat them. But we killed a couple, and we threw them they got a big walk-in cooler, so we threw them in there overnight and then gutted them the next day. Man, you'll talk about a tough animal. Take hogs over wolves. Yeah, that's a pick your poison kind of thing right there. I'm probably with you on that one. Never had to encounter a wolf, and not sure I really want to. ATM for coyote hunting this winter, so much fun. I know. I need to move some stuff that I've got just sitting in the closet. Grim Watch. See, even it's like, how do you even pronounce the GRIM part, right? It's like grime or grim. Yeah. So that's what happens when you go live. You get public speaking. Don't have a bunch in my area of Oregon. Oh, you're up in Oregon. Yet have some in the south, but the small ones are preferable. I'm more worried about cats and wolves here now. Now brown bears. Grim, like Grim Reaper. There we go. Yeah, you got to provide context, especially to somebody like me. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't even, like, let's see, here in Alabama, I mean, we've got what, coyotes, bobcats. I mean, well, it depends, right? You always hear people talk about that, you know, hey, you'll see it every single year on the hunting pages on Facebook. Got old Black Panther on camera, right? They'll always talk about a panther or something. People will post post pictures of their trail cams, and it's comical. Not saying they're not, right? But it's not a massive population. If it is, it's, you know. Did you get any of the 50 BMG brass? Oh no, I did not. But I tell you what, I almost bought. They had some 270 Nosler blemished primed brass for a really good deal. They had what was it, 100 pieces, and after the discount, it was like $37 for 100 pieces. And they had 3 100-piece boxes in stock. I almost bought all 3 just to, you know, because I'm sure you're going to throw away some of them, because it even said in the description they were like creased necks and different things like that. So you're going to throw away some of them, but it was saying they were like dented shoulders and stuff. I can tolerate that. That'll fire form out. But yeah, man, I saw that email and I clicked on it and I was like, ooh, I have bought so much from them lately. I need to just not pull the trigger. Hopefully leaving Oregon for Kentucky. Hey, all right, well, what are we? All right, Zach, you sending me a picture. I don't know how I do that while I'm on live, but I'll have to look at that later. Hopefully leaving Oregon for Kentucky in the next year or so. Mountain lions and wolves suck here. Bobcats wiped out most. Oh yeah, I've got a bobcat mounted on the wall. I've only seen 2. As much hunting as I've done in my life, I mean, those things are elusive. And I actually saw 2 weeks apart. Those are the only 2 bobcats I've ever seen in my life hunting. I was hunting the same area, and I couldn't get a shot at the first one, but the second one, 2 weeks later, I was able to get a shot at it. And they were 2 different bobcats. I could just tell by the size of them. But I got the second one mounted on a piece of driftwood. Looks really cool. Yeah, plain cardboard boxes. You're right about that. My wife is not happy because I got all that prime brass in the house in my little office area. I work from home if I'm not traveling. Like, I travel a lot for work, but when I'm not, I typically telework. And she's not happy. A lot of those plain cardboard boxes came in very recently. She's like, what in the world? So, on top of the primers and the powder that I keep in the house, because my area where I do all my reloading is not climate controlled out in my detached building. So I keep all that stuff in the house, and it's probably a bit of a safety risk. Thermal on the new 8.6. Oh man, how do you like that 8.6? Our creek bed is a highway for them. Oh, I bet. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. What thermal hunted Oregon, Idaho, Washington, Wyoming? I am very jealous of you, Grimwatch. That's the other thing. It's like here in Alabama, so we just came back from Kentucky. Me, my brother, and my dad, we went up over the weekend. We hunted there for the first time last season. We bow hunted and gun hunted in Kentucky last season, this past season that just ended. And so we were like, hey, we need to get up there while it's still cool and, you know, temperature wise. and go and do some more scouting, right, for this coming season. And so that's what we did this past weekend. And we went back mostly to the same area and just did a lot more walking in this kind of the same area on the same patch of land, the same wildlife management area. And so we're feeling pretty confident this year. We think between us three, and then my uncle goes hunting with us. He didn't go scouting with us, but he'll go hunting with us. So between us four, we're kind of, our confidence is growing that we may get a buck on the ground this coming season. Zach, are you kidding me? Dude, what do you not have? Got the 8.6 now. Yeah, that's hunted Oregon, Idaho. Man, that's like a bucket list. The places you just rattled off there, Grim Watch. Man, yeah, super jealous. 28 crippled up vet with lots of free time. Thank you for your service, 100%. So what'd you kill? You can't leave me on that cliffhanger of hunting those insanely cool places. I need to know. I don't have a 6.5 crew. Oh, come on now. Don't be throwing shade. Don't be throwing shade. It's the greatest cartridge that's ever been invented. No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. I do love the 6.5 Creedmoor though. You know that if you've followed my channel for any length of time. I haven't really showed any videos of it here lately, but I am a huge, in my neck of the woods. I probably should caveat that statement anytime I make that. For my neck of the woods, you know, the animals you're gonna be killing down here, that gets it done all day long. 6.5 Swede, yep. 6.5 Creed and 6.5 PRC. I actually did work with the 6.5 PRC just briefly. I had a buddy that wanted a load worked up, and this was a while back. Yeah, this was, I don't even know how long ago this was. And but I ended up finding a decent load. He had the Ruger M77 Hawkeye, what was it, Target or something that they had come out with. It was pretty like long range hunter or something, I don't know. Really sweet looking rifle though, and it was in 6.5 PRC. I mean, he put a decent amount of money into it. Those things ain't cheap, and it shot pretty good. I didn't spend a ton of time on it. I found a decent load with the 140 gold dots and just rolled with that. Wyoming was Dirt Dogs and Chukar. What the heck is Chukar? Chukar. Washington was elk. Oh man, elk and bear. Dude, Idaho was moose. With grandma who pulled a lifetime tag, Oregon, everything from grouse quail, blacktail, elk, bison, mountain lion. Are you kidding me? You killed a moose? Why do I feel like Grim Watch is trolling me? Like he's just throwing it out there. He's the John Wick of freaking hunting season. This dude is, man, that's incredible. Yeah, super jealous. Let's see, I am 30 caliber bigger guy. Yeah, I don't blame you there, Zach. With the game, with where you're at in the game you hunt, Zach, I don't blame you. 30 cal bigger. Good afternoon, 67 Rebel Staff Sergeant. Grandma did, but I got to hunt it with her. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have Instagram? I do, and my Instagram is Alabama Reloader, so pretty easy to find. It is I can't remember what my little picture is though. Washington does still have great elk and bear. Wes, you ever want to hunt elk or bear here? Just let me know. Are you kidding me? Well, you ain't even got to make that statement. All right. Yep. We'll figure something out. I'll be in touch. Man, yeah. Please send me some photos. Take your time. We got a moose with a 6.5 by 284 normal last year. Oh, that's awesome. Definitely want something bigger. Bigger than the moose or bigger than the 6.5 by 284? 369 acres to hunt elk. Man, that's so. I've never. I gotta take my hoodie off. It's getting hot. Oh, I have never. It gets hot sitting in here talking, full of hot air. So, but I've never hunted elk. Like I said, it's always been white-tailed deer and smaller, but bigger caliber. I'm interested. How'd that 6.5? I'm assuming since you want a bigger caliber, maybe it didn't perform super great on the moose. See, I told you he is John Wick. He said I found you in the most John Wick tone. You can hunt with a 300 short mag, the kings of the short mags. Right. No, it's funny. I saw my buddy sent me I think it was an Instagram reel where this guy was talking about like the people who identify as a cartridge, and it was talking about the short mags, and he's like, could you just decide what you want to be, right? And I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, do you want to be a Magnum? Do you not? Like, that made me laugh. Bigger caliber. So what would you go with? Hindsight being 2020, right? I mean, that's, if you could go with something larger there, 67 Rebel, what would you have gone with? Sent you a message. All right, got it. Yeah, once I get off here, I will. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah, if you're hunting in moose country, then, yeah, you got to be on the lookout for other things that want to eat you. .300 short and a long action is impressive. Oh, I bet. Puts the 301 mag in the ground. Yeah, that's. I still go back to. I think we touched on this the last live stream I did about the Winchester short mags. They're really, really, really good cartridges. I mean, I would not overlook those if you're wanting to get into, that level of cartridge. And I was talking about the 7 Psalm as well. That's that's probably at the top of my list right now. If I get another firearm, that one's gonna be it. Not if, but when. It'll be that cartridge. 7 Psalm. Did a little bit of shooting with that 300 Win mag I just picked up. That thing's a thumper. Pretty sweet though. I like that. It's that Savage model. What is it? 14 or 114, whatever it is. Classic with that wood stock. So a lot of moose taken with a 308. I carry a 300 Win mag. Just depends on the distance you want to hunt. Yep, you better believe it. You better believe it. That's why when I worked up that elk load for my buddy, he was taking his 30-06, and that was the first question I asked him was, what's the maximum distance that you would take a shot? And he said 400 yards. That tells me everything I need to know, because from that point, it's just a math problem, and we can figure it out. So. Yeah, and it's one of those where I'm not the biggest fan or like the proponent, You know, I'm not the person out there carrying the torch for like, hey, take as small a cartridge as possible. But sometimes I think people do, for your traditional hunting distances, I think people do kind of blow it out of proportion of like, hey, you got to go out there with whatever the biggest magnum that you can get your hands on. I'm not sure that's quite the case. People kill moose with a bow and arrow. I mean, they do it every year, so. And you can beat the PRC. Jeez Louise. That 300 PRC is man, that thing is a beast of a round. Yeah, I got a guy at work. He's asked me a couple of times. He's like, "Hey, you think you can work up a load for my Weatherby Mark V chambered in 378 Weatherby mag?" And I'm just like, "Oh my lord, I can do it, but doesn't mean I want to." I mean, I really do want to, but still, at the same time, that's not going to be a fun load development series. I'll tell you that right now. I have access to elk at 65 to 100 yards year round. Yeah, Mark LaRue. What does anyone, speaking of him, does anyone know what has happened to Mark LaRue? I'm not saying you should, but you can. 6 Arc has been my deer cartridge. Love the 6. So everything you just said in that statement, love it. I'm a massive 6.5 Grendel fan, 6 Arc fan. Yep. Has been my deer cartridge in an AR for the last year. Just picked up a 30 belted Newton. I saw that. That's very interesting. See, that's what I'm saying. You've got that's why I said at the beginning, like, I don't see when you sleep, Zach. Like, you've been, dude, you're all the time, man. You're putting out articles, you're putting out content, man, yeah, my hat's off to you, brother. I like all the work you do. What's going on, Christopher? I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so I've been eyeing a 300 Norma. Oh, 300 Norma. That's not one I've really looked into. So, haven't heard from him in almost 2 years. That's my point. Grimwatch is he used to be insanely active on Instagram. Man, I love following him on Instagram. All his posts, I mean, I ain't heard a word about him, out of him, in a while, so a little worried about that. 6 Arc is awesome for whitetailing down. Yeah, agreed. I hear you, brother. On the, let's see, raising twin 4-year-olds. Oh, that's awesome. I've got 3, 2 stepdaughters, and then my biological daughter. Yep, so I know what you mean. Oh yeah, you could definitely tell that by all the posts he makes. I mean, he's definitely not one to hold his opinion to himself, right? So he's always a good follow. But yeah, family and work typically keep me pretty busy. So that's why we're trying to plan like the Kentucky thing. Prior to last season, that was a trip that we had planned for 2 years. Like, it was a trip that was 2 years in the making. So I think he is only in business to spite Bill. I think you're probably right. So yeah, it's just very difficult to when you're raising kids, trying to raise a family, it's pretty difficult to carve out time, or at least it can be. But I feel like it's very necessary, right? I mean, just being honest here. Right? We're talking man to man. men to man. I don't know, whatever. Me to y'all, y'all to me. Women if they're in these people that are included, but it's just like, man, you have to carve out time for this type of stuff. If you're like me, because when we were walking in the woods this weekend, it's like, man, you want to talk about getting in your happy place? That's how you do it. Only problem I'm running into is when I do move to Kentucky is I know one guy out there, and I know public land is nearly non-existent. I wouldn't say non-existent, but what I will say is you're gonna have to definitely put in some legwork. Now, talking to the game wardens and stuff, they're super willing to offer up some knowledge, because that's what my brother did. He started out talking to the game wardens and trying to hone in on what public land tract maybe we need to look at, right? They got a lot of public land. The problem is, or I say a lot, it's all relative, right? Because you look at some of these states out west, it's like, dude, we ain't got that kind of public land down here, right? We just don't. And so that's kind of the problem you run into, is when you come more down our direction, down south, like Bankhead National Forest is a perfect example. I think it's 250,000 acres. Stand by.
Are you literally live streaming? Like, you're an Insta famous?
What can I do for you?
Oh my god. This is Big Wesley. I'm out here at John Hunt Park.
What do you need?
That is too funny. Hashtag Big Wesley.
All right, is that it?
No. I'm about to go tell her. I don't want to say she like really wants me to come to all these practices, but no one's out there. I'm gonna be a gunner.
I know, that's why I
Break
tell
the
her
call.
I sit here and I watch her.
I'm gonna tell her, G, on my weeks I'll sit out there like a weirdo, but this week I'm not.
All right.
Because you're doubling me down on the weirdness.
All right, sounds
I'm gonna
good.
go tell her.
All right, adios.
Hashtag Big Wesley.
Oh, I swear. Oh, that's my ex-wife. So, yeah. Gotta love it. Let's see. I missed some of y'all's stuff here. The only problem, yeah, it is tough. I just have 2 under 2. Cool, Zach. Man, I can't even remember what those days are like. Dude, my 3 are 19, 16, and 11. So, 10 minutes down the road, 25,000 acres. Yeah, you can't get that time back. 100%. 100%. But yeah, like y'all are talking about, that's what's really cool too, is when you have kids, they become your buddies, right? Like your hunting buddies. And I think that's the coolest part. Now, my 3, my 2 stepdaughters, I've taken them a handful of times, and they were older when I came into their lives, right? Like the oldest one was 13. Yeah, the oldest one was 13. And the other, let's see, the other one was, the oldest was 13. She literally turned 14, like right after I met their mom. And then the middle one was 11. So yeah, so I've been in their lives now for about 5 years, and I try to take them hunting every season. That's something, it's just, I think it's important, right? We get to get out, spend time together, get in the great outdoors, all that fun stuff. Yeah, especially like my daughter, obviously I've been taking her into the woods since she could walk. And it's not necessarily like her thing, she's not just all in and, and just eat up with it like I am, right? But she does love to go. I mean, she asked me a few times this season. She was like, "Hey, Dad, can we go hunting?" Which I want her to do that, right? I don't want it to be like hey, you're going to go hunting with me every single time, and then we're going to sit out there for hours and hours, and you're going to be miserable. I definitely don't want that, because that is like the quickest way to turn them off to the outdoors. So we like to ice fish. Problem is this year we need a boat. I don't have a boat yet. That makes two of us. I ain't got a boat either, and I'd love to have one. You got 3, 25, 23, and 8. That's awesome. Boys 9, daughters 7. Oh, that's awesome, man. 4-year-old twin girls. Can't have any more, so I'm happy. Well, yeah, I can't have any more either. Or at least if I do, it'd be a miracle. So, but yeah, that's what, it's so cool being a parent, right? Or being a dad, you know, and even a dad of girls, because it's like, you know, yeah, I don't have the son, but still we go out, go in the woods. It's not as often as like maybe like my brother. He's got 3 kids. Him and his wife have 3 kids. They're all younger than my youngest, so they're like 10, 8, 6, something like that. But they got a girl and 2 boys, and so I mean they crack me up, man. They're so funny. They're in the woods all the time. He's got them trapping, which is awesome. His channel is The Snared Life, so the THE Snared SNARED Life LIFE over on YouTube. And he posts a lot of trapping videos. He's big into that. He's really good at it. So it's pretty cool watching his stuff and then watching the kids when they go out there and do all that with him. It's just really neat. So my daughter is more into hunting than me, than your boy. Oh Lord, already into girls. Good night. Lock him up. Lock him up. Tell him you'll let him out when he's about 30. That way he won't be broke. He can afford to have toys when he gets older. Yeah, that's really my 3. I mean, the 19-year-old, she's already out. She moved out of the house. She's off doing her own thing. Super proud of her. Her and her boyfriend, they're making it. They're figuring out life, so they're doing that stuff. But yeah, the 16 and the 11, yeah, they're too worried about what's the latest shopping deal at Lululemon or something. We went to a game dinner last weekend. My daughter won a fishing charter. Oh, sweet, Lake Ontario. That's awesome. Congratulations to her on that. That'd be super fun. I do fish a little bit, but you'll probably never see fishing content on my channel. I don't do it enough to, I can't tell you, it's probably been a year or 2 since I even went fishing. So I mostly focus on reloading, you know, shooting, hunting, cooking. I actually got a chicken, I'm making a homemade chicken broth right now at the house using chicken thighs. It's gonna be really good. Got that on the stove. Stand by 2 seconds. All right. What's new? What's next coming up? Oh, that is a great question. What's new? There's really not a ton that's new. That 300 Win Mag is the newest thing I've picked up, and so I'll obviously be working on that. And then I've got to get the rifle from my cousin's husband at some point. you know, he bought a 300 Win Mag. That's the whole point of me getting everything geared up. I bought bullets, dies, brass. I got all that stuff because he wanted a hunting load worked up. I hadn't got the rifle from him yet, so I really need to get that picked up so I can start working on his hunting load for this coming season. But in the meantime, I'm probably about to load up some of those Hornady 212 ELDX bullets in that for that Savage 300 Win Mag I picked up. Just after shooting those couple of groups that I did the other day, I was pretty pleased with the initial results with H4350. So I want to go back to the well on that one and try it again. Favorite bullet in 270 Winchester. Do I have to pick a favorite? Right now, and the only reason I would say this is because I've actually used it on game, and it's the Barnes 129 grain LRX, 90 grain TNT for me, yeah, from Spear. Well, that'd be a hot rod. The 129 grain LRX from Barnes for me in 270 Winchester. Now, what I want to say is the McGuire Ballistics 128 grain Copper Rose hollow point, but I've only shot those on paper. I have not put those in an animal yet. So I don't want to say, oh, that's my favorite bullet. I hadn't taken any game with it yet. Now, I did use the 30 cal version in my 30 Thompson Center and killed the biggest buck that I've ever killed this past season. And it performed great. So I'm thinking for solid copper, I'm quickly becoming a huge McGuire Ballistics fan. That Henry Long Ranger of my dad's, that thing is really sweet. I think I want one of those in 308 or 243. Yeah, you would not be disappointed. Now, I will say that I did have to go in and kind of sand down the barrel channel a little bit on the fore end. I did notice that it wasn't completely free floated and it was making contact with the barrel just a little bit. And so I went in, because I would have some erratic performance back when I was trying to work up a load for it initially. And so I took the fore end off, sanded that down a little bit, and good to go. I hear you. Hey, guys, we all need to pause. We need to take a moment for who just entered the live stream. And that's Pastor Kevin. That's my buddy right there. The man, the myth, the legend. Yee. That's what I'm talking about. That's a bunch of yees right there. Just loaded up some 130 grain Nosler ballistic tip. Oh yeah, no, you'll love those. I'm a big fan of those ballistic tips too. But I mean, if I had to just you put me behind the 8-ball, you said I had to pick my favorite. So maybe if you would have said your favorite weight class for 270 Winchester, I'd have said 130 grain, so that would have covered you, because I'm a big 130 grain guy in 270 Winchester. I'm a fan of those ballistic tips in general. I think that if you load up 30-06, I've used 150 grain ballistic tip in 30-06 loads, for multiple rifles, and it always shoots extremely well. And man, that thing just drops whitetail deer all day long. 150 TSX is good. Yeah, just Barnes in general. I think you'd be hard pressed to have a bad result with Barnes. I did actually, if you'll go back, I think in my 270 Winchester playlist, I did some testing with I think it's the 85 grain. Barnes has an 85 grain, I believe it's 85 grain bullet in 277 diameter. I think it's for 6.8 SPC, but I loaded them up in 270 Winchester, and that thing is screaming. It is cooking with some velocity. You just ordered some of those from them. They're 30, yes, their 30 cal bullets are awesome. McGuire Ballistics, those guys, they make a really, really good solid copper bullet. If you're in the market for a solid copper option, then I can't recommend them enough. So, man, what in the world? Oh, that's a weird sound outside. But yeah, 270 Winchester that's one of those cartridges I came around to way late, as far as I was never really exposed to it, never owned one until probably the past couple of years, and it's quickly becoming quite possibly my favorite. I'm a big Sierra nerd. Oh yeah, it doesn't really get much better than Sierra. I mean, 77 grain. Yep. Match key for the 223 and the 300 for the 338. So I worked up a 250 grain, I think it was their 250 grain Game King bullet for 338 Lapua mag. I think it was with H1000 powder, and that shot lights out. That 250 grain Game King, I mean, it shot really, really good. 300 grain and 8.6 is a monster. That is a monster. That's just that's a big bullet. Doesn't hold together in 8. Oh, I bet. It was that, probably doesn't hold together because of what, the twist rate, I would imagine. Because isn't it like some insanely fast twist? That's just a weird. Oh, it's just that windy outside. It's the wind I hear. Man alive. 1 in 3. 1 in 3 twist. Wow. So I haven't even looked it up really, so excuse my ignorance on this, but I mean, so what's your starting weight in that 8.6? What would be the starting bullet weight? Is it 300? That's wild. I can't even wrap my head around that. 1 in 3 twist. Oh, for supers. Supers, and then, yeah. Yeah, I guess what would be your starting weight for supers, and then what's the heaviest sub you can shoot? I might have to, y'all are intriguing me a little bit here. Stop it. I don't need to look into another cartridge. Okay. Oh, I'll bet they are. 385. Wow. Oh, that's a big pill. That's insane. I bet that brings some energy. $185 to $350. That's good stuff. Oh, me. And we'll probably go till, I don't know, we'll probably go time-wise, probably another 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes. Practice is over at 7 p.m. Central Time, so I'll probably wrap it up about maybe 10, 15 till. 385 makers. I was just about to say, what type of cavity does that, yeah, what kind of wound channel would that make? 385 grain makers. Wow. That's insane. That's like the definition of devastation, it seems like. Small watermelon-sized cavity. That's crazy. Zach, what's the deal with this 30, what'd you say it was? 30 belted Newton? What the heck is that? Cutting copper bullets as we speak. You're cutting them? Do tell. Why are you cutting them? Oh, you're making copper bullets. A lot of guys use it in Africa now. Interesting. 42 grain solid coppers for 224. Nice. I'm a big solid copper guy. It just making 338 tomorrow for testing loads. Well, that's super cool. Now, are these, excuse me, are you like lathe turning these? Are these on like a CNC or something? Or how are you making them? I guess maybe that's a better question. We can get into that later, but that's interesting. That's pretty cool. CNC. Nice. So do you sell these projectiles? Who do you work for? Where are you? Kidding. How'd you find me? Oh, I feel like I'm being marketed to. I feel like Google's targeting me yet again. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, again, jealous. Jealous. Yep. You got a machine shop and you get to play around. That's really cool. That's kind of, so that's basically along the same lines of how McGuire Ballistics got started, right? His family is Sam McGuire. He's the guy that kind of runs that, and it was his brainchild to start producing bullets. But they were, I think they'd always been in like the machine shop business, you know, making various parts, whatever. And then the lead ban went into place in whatever it was, 2014, out in California. That's where they live. And so they were obviously talking about the lead ban prior to that, and he was like, hey, you know, maybe we should look at making bullets. He was like, I think this lead ban will probably start to push the solid copper bullet design and kind of push that technology forward. And he said after the ban went in place, you know, not really much, there wasn't really much that changed in terms of lead copper, lead-free bullets out in their neck of the woods. And so he was like, well, then we'll just make our own. And that was essentially how they got started. So very cool. I hope it works out for you. That's pretty neat. So now, so we got a guy that can 3D print you anything. That's Zach over at Reloading Quest. Make sure you go check out his channel. He puts out, just like I've already said, I don't know how the guy sleeps, but now we've got Grimwatch, who can make us bullets. Oh, wow. Man, that's really cool. It's good stuff. Works for a scientific instrument company that has a bunch of shooters that don't like to reload. I love to reload, so that's a hobby that my brother got me into. and I'm pretty sure my wife is not happy with him about that. Of course, I started reloading well before I met her. So reloading will stick around. That ain't going nowhere. What's going on, Harvey? Have you reloaded 7mm 08 recently? If so, what are you having luck with in terms of powder, brass, primers, bullets? What's the barrel twist and length? I have not loaded a piece of 7mm 08, alt 8, however you want to say it, in a long time, brother. But I might come back around to it. I know on the playlist that I have on the channel, I know it's got some age to it, so it's not super recent. But I did have quite a bit of luck with the 130 grain Sierra Match Kings, I believe it is. I had some laying around, and I was working up a load for a friend of mine for his wife's rifle, and I just wanted to see how the 130 shot. Well, they shot lights out, and so I actually took some 130 grain Spear. I think they were Spear, or they might have been some Sierra Spitzer Point. I can't remember now. It's in the playlist, but I went and loaded those up for the hunting load, and those shot really, really well. I just cannot remember the powder, bullet, or powder brass combination and all that. It's in my playlist somewhere, but I just don't remember it off the top of my head. I haven't messed with it in a long time though. I don't own one anymore, so that's why you haven't really seen anything on it. All I do is watch tools around, fiddle around with reloading. Yeah, that's what I'd be fine if we got rid of our TV and all of our streaming services. Literally, all I watch is YouTube. That's it. I watch reloading stuff. I watch, machining stuff, all that. So reloading is really gun dependent. There are sweet spots for generally super dependent with 7mm speeds. Reloading is my happy place. You better believe it. Now my daughter likes to help. It's even better. Yeah, and so what you just said, Zach, that's exactly how I am. It's, because you talk to some people and they reload, like they have their firearms, and they reload, but they don't necessarily do a ton of testing, right? I'm right the opposite. I'll test all day long, different bullets, powder, you name it, and then I might go load up a handful of something that shot really well to go hunt with. I don't load up like 1,000 rounds of a really good load and then I just hunt with that load for the rest of my life. That's not what I do at all. Like, I think the most I've ever loaded, the most hunting rounds I've ever loaded after load development was 50. Yeah, 50. That's it. I found a really good load. That's actually with the Spear 140 grain impact bullet in 6.5 Creedmoor. I found a really good load with Power Pro 4000 MR. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to load up 50. And that's what I did. And I actually haven't killed anything with that load yet, but I let my buddy borrow that gun and load, and he went out and killed a really nice 8-point this season with it. Have a 9/4 twist, rim barrel, but thrown on a Douglas one. Ooh, I would be interested in knowing how that does, Harvey, if you don't mind. Don't get caught up on freehand knife sharpening. Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing how that switch to the Douglas 1 and 8 goes. Kids are my brass sorter. Yeah, that's funny. Oh man, speaking of that, God, I've got a mountain of range brass that I've picked up over the past couple of years that I really need to sort at some point in time. I test everything. I can make a load that great in one gun, and it's trash in another gun. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that I find so fascinating about reloading, or just, I guess, firearms in general, is you would assume, right, that this load shot really great in this rifle. You go and get the rifle that's literally one serial number digit different, and it might not shoot that well. It's just, man, it's so interesting how all that stuff comes together. And so to fine tune it and to reload and really hone in on, you know, something's going to perform extremely well, that's pretty satisfying. I enjoy doing that. It's like you're starting over from scratch every time you get a, you know, get a new rifle or something. I mean, you have a general idea, right? Like, hey, this powder, this kind of bullet weight range, probably gonna shoot halfway decent, gives me a starting point, but you still have to fine tune it. Hunt with a new load every year. Yeah, that's me. And even like my dad, I think he killed 2 deer with a load in that Henry last year. And I was like, hey, before the season, I was like, hey, let me get that Henry back. I want to work up a different load for it. You know, yeah. Still working on my 8.6 loads. It's very newish, good enough for close-up varmints, but really want to close it up. Douglas Sporter Barrel Remington replacement. Yeah, be interested in seeing that, seeing how that does. Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. Everything changes, right? That's the other thing that goes into it. Everything changes. Environments, you know, that's going to affect performance, the whole nine. So 168 grain TSX in my first 30-06 I got when I was 13. It's really the only one I don't mess with. Well, that's a good one to not mess with. That 168 grain TSX. That I think I did the one. What time is sunset in your area? I don't know, like 6 something. Yeah, because right now it's 6:22 Central Time. I'm in Central Time Zone. It's pretty dark, so, which is pretty crappy in wintertime because it's sun starts to go down like in December. I mean, it gets dark around 4:30. It's crazy. So 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's just wild. But yeah, I think that 168, that might be the bullet I chose for that elk load in my buddy's 30-06. I believe it was maybe Ram Shot Big Game was the powder, possibly. But yeah, that shot lights out. Try Alaska in the winter. Oh yeah, I bet. It sucks. Yep, definitely some trade-offs, no matter where you're at. 78 grain Barnes triple shock is what I want to pick up. Criterion barrel. Yeah, they make pretty good stuff from what I understand. Never owned any of their barrels, but definitely be a good combination. Y'all stand by. All right. Okay, back. Build workup for the next varmint guns. Yeah, I need to do some more coyote hunting. That's one thing I just don't do enough of at all. I need to try to make more time, get out, do some coyote hunting. Needs to be bumped up the list. Come to Eastern Oregon. I would love to do that. I would definitely love to do that. You can fill a truck bed in the afternoon. That's crazy. That's wild. Literally, that's wild. That is the wilderness. All right, guys, we got 6 more minutes, 5 more minutes. I'll shut her down at 6:30. Where Johnny's reloading bench went. No, he just no, I don't think he lost him to the gamer world on Twitch. He put out a couple of videos and said he was just done. He said he was getting out of YouTube. Moving forward, I don't think you're going to see many videos from him ever. So he closed his Patreon, where you could go and donate money to him and all that. I think he closed all that up. Like it's sad, but I think you might see a video pop up from him every now and then. But yeah, we won't get any more JRB content like we did. He's really one of the, he is probably the only reason I started making YouTube videos. I got into reloading because my brother got me into it. And then it was one of those things where I watched so much of his content and I was like, this dude just seems like a regular guy. I'm a regular guy. I was like, it'd be interesting just to put what I do, what I'm experimenting with, let me just throw that stuff up there. Because it helped me, right? His stuff helped me. And so I was like, maybe if somebody watches my stuff, they can be like, hey, hey, did you ever think about this? Which has been really neat, right? Like the community of people who are into reloading on YouTube, it seems like it's a really big community. Like, oh man, but you see a lot of the same people commenting on different videos, giving out ideas. Hey, did you try this? Hey, what do you think about this? It's really neat. I enjoy that part. Started reloading because of JRB. Yep. He just got burnt out. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it just the amount of content he put out, and it's so good. Like he just, yeah, it's. My brother got me into it, but JRB is the reason why I post videos. But yeah, I hate we're losing. He's from Kentucky, also, old JRB. So I don't really know what he. I mean, I hope that he keeps us updated, right? Like, I mean, it's not like he owes anything to his fan base. I consider myself a JRB fan. It's not like he owes us anything, but at the same time, it's just like you want to know what he's up to, right? What he's getting into. I think it'd be cool if he at least keep us posted on that every now and then, because he's still a relatively young guy. Like I think he's what, in his 40s, maybe. So. All right, guys, 2-minute warning. According to my Casio Pro Trek, I'm a big fan of Casio watches. If you want a watch recommendation, go get you a Casio. Get you a G-Shock and just call it a day. You'll be good to go. Yeah, his chicken. Yeah, exactly. All that stuff that he was getting into, the chicken videos, his other channel, JRB Outdoors, his hogs, all that stuff. Like all that stuff's really good. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just really good content. So, oh hey, you're welcome on that. 18 wheels and a dozen 6-shooters. I can't remember who. CW Longshot, my buddy CW, he might have been the one that turned me on. I can't remember who turned me on to American Reloading. It might have been him. I can't remember who turned me on to it, but yeah, that's a great place to pick up some components. So, all right, guys, we're rolling into boom, 18:30 on the dot. So yeah, good stream today. I agree. For you guys that hung around, you know, for right at 70 minutes, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. So just for even tuning in. Hope everybody had a blessed Monday. Depends on where you're at when you're watching this. Hope you have a blessed Tuesday. Yeah, the rest of your week. If anyone has any trail balls, hey, I do. I do actually have a container of trail balls. All I did was open it. Never used it. I think they come in, they're not the full pound containers, it's the small ones. I think it's like an 8-ounce thing, it's like a half-pound container or whatever it is. I got one of those. Have no need for it, I'm just saying. So, if we can come up with a reason for me to get out to Eastern Oregon. All right, guys, that's it. That's where we're going to leave it. Hope you guys enjoyed the chat, because I know I did. Y'all have a great evening, man. I'm going to get out here and catch the tail end of this practice. So, all right. I am headed out. I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. I never can figure out how to end the stream. Oh, there it is. All right. Y'all have a good one. Hit the like. That's right. We'll see y'all later.